I have a few things for the Chancellor's report, and the first thing I'd like to do is take a point of personal privilege, Trustee Bonilla and members of the board, in welcoming Dr. Debbie Budd as the interim president for Berkeley City College. Yeah. So glad to have you back here. We'll be doing a search for the Berkeley City College president, but we sure are glad to have somebody that knows this district and knows this college community and is committed to it to be here for us during that time. So thank you. The next thing I'd like to say is, you know, when you make a mistake in public, I think you have to, when you do things really loud in public, I think you also have to apologize in public. Professor Bourgoin, did I get that right? Voilà, merci. Mentioned that the number of 30% decline in enrollment has been put out there, and asked where did he get that from. He was being polite. It came from me. And I can tell you that this is where it comes from. During the part of the process when I applied for this position, I did a lot of studying of the data. When I studied the data, I had what was available on the Chancellor's Data Mart. And the Chancellor's Data Mart did show that. But it showed that, I have come to discover, it showed that because this district borrowed from a summer. So it looked like it was a 30% decline. It was not. It's been a 12 to 14% decline, depending on where you look at it and what numbers, what point in time. That said, that is significant. Still, you're talking about double-digit declines. So it still is significant. We don't take our eye off the prize in terms of making sure that we build back up the enrollment, but I do want to clarify for that for the record publicly. And then the next thing I want to say is the faculty are absolutely right that we're paying attention to right size in the institution. And I understand the concerns, and we want to make sure that we are having things available for students and they have access to classes. So when you listen to the numbers that were read out, where you had 670 sections and it had 2,310 students, or where you had 415 section that had 1,933 students, or so forth, even if you have those sections and those numbers, I trust that those numbers are correct. It calculates out to the section having from anywhere, if they were evenly distributed, and they're not, some have more, some have less, it calculates out to a section having anywhere from 3.4 students per section, 4.6 students per section, or 5 students per section. So in having a conversation about productivity, while it is not the only issue, it is a significant factor that has to be taken into consideration. So I just wanted to bring that to our attention as we're thinking about these numbers so that we don't reduce it to this conversation about numbers. It's very real responsibility and stewardship of the public's resources. The other thing I would like to say is that we had a wonderful Flex Day. I am pleased to announce that I got a standing ovation from PFT. The entire time I talked, it was exciting. I could not have been more pleased. And then I gave a wonderful address and then got another standing ovation from the audience in the room. So thank you to everybody who showed all that love. Thank you to Scott Hoshida and the team at Merritt and the team that did everything they could to make sure the faculty had a perfect Flex Day. It was an awesome event. There was a tremendous amount of support for making sure the faculty had a wonderful day, and I tried to deliver to make sure that as well. And in that Flex speech, I did articulate a vision that I would like to make each of the colleges in the Peralta Community College District. My vision is that each of the colleges become models of excellence, that we make Peralta a great place to work with fair pay and respect for all, that we make Peralta the major source of social and cultural capital for our communities, and that we make Peralta an even more vital economic engine for the community. Of course, we will have that vision informed and expanded, but off the top of my head, I can see that in Peralta's future easily. And then I also appreciate Professor Moore's challenge around having the kinds of conversations, particularly around the racial conversations that need to take place. This chancellor welcomes an increase in critical consciousness and racial literacy, and it is absolutely the field I love playing in. So I welcome that as well. Before I call on the presidents to share with you some information from the colleges, I would like to share with you a little bit of a presentation about this leadership. Can we get that up? As you know, when we came in, we looked at the CBT recommendations, and many of the recommendations were around processes, around leadership, around practices that threatened the fiscal integrity of the district. I also recognized when I got here that there were lots of conversations about the culture in the district. There were experiences people were having where they had to come to work every day, and they were having types of experiences that many people get to not have in their workplace. And in trying to address it, I convened the leadership throughout the district to have a retreat. In here, we did it in this room. Every administrator in the district was invited, and we had a facilitated discussion. And they were invited for the express purpose of establishing leadership standards of excellence. So if I can have that presentation pulled up. In establishing the leadership standards of excellence, if you go to the next slide, I basically said to the administration, I asked that we show up differently. Now, what does that mean? That means faculty, staff, and students have the right and deserve to have the experience of an educational institution that is rich in educational leadership and rich in leadership excellence and leading with a purpose. And it requires us, as we occupy our positions of influence and consequence, to have the professional and political will to consciously choose and do the right things on behalf of the students and the community. It thrives with having a personal humility that no one person can move this effort, and that we have to cultivate leaderships at all levels of the organization. So the idea is that when we walk in the room, when we are serving the community, that we show up differently. If you go to the next slide, you can see that we did a lot of work identifying our values as a leadership team. People came together. There was a facilitated set of exercises and a facilitated conversation so that we could define those values. And we were looking to move toward, at the next slide, move toward making sure that we build a high-performance team. And that means that we get to level 5 leadership so that we could basically build the kind of enduring greatness that this district deserves to have access to. It means that there are expectations, different expectations as leaders. It means that we recruit differently, we select differently. It means that we develop each other differently, and we evaluate and hold ourselves and each other accountable differently. If you go to the next slide, we acknowledge that, but there's a lot of history and there's a lot of stuff, and we have the real leadership teams that exist right now. And so we looked at the 5 dysfunctions of a team, and as a matter of fact are undergoing at the district level, the executive administration is undergoing that assessment, and at the college levels, the college presidents are working with their teams to look at the 5 dysfunctions of the team so that we can end up being high performance teams where you have results, accountability, where there is a commitment that you're willing to engage in constructive conflict, and that there is trust among that team. And that is what ultimately resulted in us developing what's called the Leadership Standards of Excellence, the Peralta Community College District Leadership Standards of Excellence. A shortened version of them are there right there for you, but we also have a handout for you that gives the expanded version of the Leadership Standards of Excellence. And just let me tell you what that means. It means that we have agreed to these standards of excellence in leadership and how we do our work. And it means that we include this in the job descriptions when we search for leaders in this district. It means that it's incorporated in the evaluations of the administrators that are part of the leadership team. It means that when I'll give you an example of one piece. Like one part of the leadership standards of excellence is about being responsive. The colleges are counting on the district to support the colleges and serve the colleges, and we want to be responsive. So in November, I got a document across my desk that had been started in August. And so then I started to trace the document and said, okay, why did it take 4 months for the document to travel up the 580 and get to an office in here and come across to my office? The first thing I recognized is that there were about 16 signatures that were required on the document. So the first thing I said was, look, if the president and the vice president said they needed it and the finance people said there's money, then I don't need the signature of every single person in order to do this particular thing. And then I went over to each office and interviewed the people in the offices saying, why did it take a document 2 weeks to go from this door to that door? And then why did it take the document 2 weeks to go from that door to across the hall, and then another 2 weeks to come down to my office? And we just really deconstructed the process. So we made a commitment, I made a commitment that nothing sits on my desk more than 2 days without me responding. Nothing sits more than 2 days. So imagine if throughout the district, that's the commitment we make throughout the district. Then it turns a document that takes 4 to 5 months to travel, to process, and by the end people are trying to develop workarounds and try to fix things, and people are mad because they're not getting paid, and somebody else is mad because the purchase order's not done, and we're sued because we didn't pay this company, et cetera. But imagine if instead of taking 5 months, it took a work week. And the way in which we would be being responsive to the colleges and to the faculty and staff in doing that. That's an example, that's one tiny example of showing up differently and implementing leadership and living up to leadership standards of excellence. And with that, I'll go on to the excellent colleges and ask the college presidents to tell a little bit about their colleges.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Chancellor Stanback Stroud, for inviting me to come back, and to the Berkeley City College faculty for continuing to be so amazing. I was thrilled when I returned to Berkeley City College to see such a strong administrative team. We have an incredible vice president of instruction with Cooney Hay, and a really great vice president of student services with Dr. Stacy Shears. I do agree. Much of the reason why I came back was I absolutely loved Berkeley City College. It was my favorite job in education in 33 years. And walking back in the door made me realize why. Community colleges, absolutely, as you say, Chancellor, are the equity engine of the area. And we are here to help our students build cultural and social capital. And our faculty and staff help do that every single day. It happened this weekend and the past weekend when our administrative teams came out and opened the college on Saturday to say, come in, let's make sure we can enroll you. We had over 200 students enroll in those 2 days. It's the faculty leading an incredible professional development day of how do we look at what, and asking themselves, how do we change what we're offering to serve our students and community, to grow our enrollment, and help with those guided pathways to professions. It's our student services team and researchers saying, hey, yes, we have changed our demographics, and I did ask that exactly, because when I left Berkeley City College, we were right about 20% African American, 20% Latino, 20% Asian, 20% white, and 20% multi-race ethnicity. And I have a note to follow up tomorrow, because I do think you're right that that's some of what we're losing is doing that outreach. So ensuring we do outreach. You heard a bit about our Hispanic Serving Institution grant, because we now are over 25% Latino, Latina, and we are reaching out for a Title V grant to bring in over $3 million over 5 years. And I feel confident with the team we'll be able to do that. I know you said just a couple of sentences, so I'll just say it's thrilling to be back. It was a great opening of spring 2020. We're looking to make sure we build a schedule to serve our students for the fall and really help grow not only Berkeley City College, but Peralta to ensure successful accreditation and the response to all the FCMAT comments. So thank you again, Chancellor and Board. So great to see so many of you and a few new faces. Thank you.
I echo many of the sentiments Dr. Budd shared, and tonight I've elected with the Chancellor's approval to showcase one of the highlights that Laney has, and I hope you'll check out the Peralta Gems as well. We've been featured in the New Yorker and other places as well, but this was a particular one we should share tonight.
Laney football, man, it's like hard to put in words. Just so much goes into like a single practice.
It definitely requires a certain type of person to play football here at Laney. Real character.
Last year we were the state champions and we were ranked the #1 team in the nation. At the same time, CJ Anderson, who's a Laney alum, is making his third run in the Super Bowl with the Rams. All this going on, and the producers at Last Chance U reached out and said, hey, are you interested in being on Last Chance U?
This is not the same programs they've been highlighting for years before. This is a very different and unique program. I unequivocally don't think we're the last choice for students. We are the first choice. We are the best choice in every unbeatable way. We're really thinking about like, how do we make sure that we're training and educating students to be prepared for that next step that they're going to take, and see this as a catapult for them to transfer and to go on to meet their academic and career goals.
We have a 90% transfer rate and graduation rate. We take young men and young women here at Laney and help them continue on their journey for a positive outcome, which to me is an education. You know, football, when you look out here, that's the biggest classroom at Laney College. So we teach them football skills and football rules and lessons, but really what we're teaching is life lessons.
They're looking out for you as a person first before the game. So everything they teach you, the motivation to become a better person every day with the skills to be a better player.
They don't really let anybody slide, and that's what I like about it. It keeps you very accountable, keeping your toes.
It's definitely helped me develop as the person and the man I want to be.
One of the things I remember them always saying to me is that, you know, regardless of how football plays out in college or making it to the NFL or whatever, at the end of the day, make sure that you take care of the academic side of business to ensure that you get your college degree. That's always been put first here.
The teachers at Oakland and Laney, they did not care that you were an athlete. You know, if anything, they required more of you that you were an athlete.
If they catch us out of class, oh yeah, we're gonna have to run bleachers and run laps. It's just called hell, you know. We know that football doesn't last forever, you know, but the education that you get is gonna last forever.
Here in Oakland, they see a barrier because they've been told all their life that education is not for them. Well, my job is to find a way around the barrier, over the barrier, or through the barrier. I've surrounded this team and this department with men and women who have grown up in this community and have made it.
Laney College has always been filled with some of the most inspirational coaches and faculty members. These people are so dedicated to helping people grow and reach their full potential. Having Laney in the heart of Oakland has really allowed it to be available and accessible to everyone. It has always been this place where people come to grow, to thrive, to grind it out in only that Oakland way, to upskill and make more money so that they can sustain the community and their families.
Laney College is a comprehensive college that offers a number of programs, both those for transfer pathways and those who are going into career education pathways.
There's a lot of success stories that came out of Laney, you know, from doctors, from people that made it to the NFL, and we have all a mixture of different businesses and different careers that came out of Laney. I ended up getting my Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Management. I ended up working at a barbershop, and after working there a year, I ended up buying the shop.
I didn't want to do a community college because I always thought like the community college was for the kids that didn't know anything. But once I started doing my research and stuff, I figured out that the community college is like a great route to take due to the fact that you get the help, you get the money, get your prereqs done, start on your major, and you'll be surprised at how many people actually can get their 4-year degree faster when they come this route.
Right now, I am on track to be a physics major, but I definitely still want to be a football coach.
I'm majoring in kinesiology. I plan at the moment to get into like athletic training. I think if I work hard enough, the Laney program and its reputation will help me to take my education further somewhere else.
I mean, it's one of those places that, I mean, I'll hold dear to my heart, you know, for the rest of my life, of what they did for me, what they've done for my friends who otherwise wouldn't have got to go to 4-year colleges.
My hope for every student at Laney is that we've given them the platform to rise up and to go and fly to where they want to go next.
I use this hashtag Laney built, Oakland proud. Come to Laney, let us build you, and let's be proud that we are here in Oakland.
Okay. Good evening, good evening. Good evening to the Chancellor Board, students, faculty, administrators, and community members. I have a few items to share with you this evening, but I want to begin by saying thank you. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity last Thursday to host District Flex Day. I'm very pleased with the turnout and was particularly struck by the engaging addresses and workshops and presentations. And I hope that everyone who attended District Flex found the day as informative and as spirited as I did. We are excited to be partnering with the Diversity in Health Training Institute this spring term. The focus of DHTI is to support newcomers to America with their health career aspirations by providing professional skills, workshops, job placement with healthcare employers, and academic preparation. The latter is where Merritt College comes in. We are offering our first spring student cohort, and we're offering 2 courses, one in medical assisting and one in intercultural communications. Dr. Littles is spearheading that, and he and I will keep you apprised of our progress and success. Another thing we need to let you know, in the interest of providing the support that they need, we have extended the hours for student services at Merritt College for the next 2 weeks. Given that we have students coming in to address their counseling and financial aid and A&R needs, it's imperative that we ensure that they have this access. We're also going to be reopening our food bank beginning this Thursday from 12:30 until we have served every student or have run out of provisions. Yesterday, Merritt College hosted the MLK I Have a Dream basketball tournament. Student athletes from four of our local high schools, Fremont, Skyline, Oakland Tech, and Oakland High, had the opportunity to showcase their talents and come experience the Merritt campus. And while my alma mater, Oakland High, did not fare too well, we lost by 20, we are pleased to have the opportunity to host them. And finally, on February 1st, 2020, the Barbara Lee and Elihu Harris Lecture Series will feature a talk by the Honorable James Clyburn, Congressman from South Carolina, District 6. For those of you who don't know, he's a leader in the House of Representatives and a civil rights icon. And so we invite you to come to Merritt to share in this singular experience. Thank you.
Sorry, could you repeat the date one more time?
February 1st.
Thank you. Cool. Hi, greetings from the island and COA. It's a great time. It's our first day of a new semester, so there's a lot of energy on all of our campuses, and we're so excited to have all of our faculty and our students back enrolling. It's been kind of quiet, just me and the geese over the winter time, so it's good to see people again. I just have one brief highlight to give. And really, it's just a shout out to one community member, because I mean, we have people throughout our 5 cities that give to Peralta in many small ways, and they go unnoticed and unrecognized many times, but their support means everything to us and our students many times. So I just want to bring up one community member. His name's Dhruv Patel. He owns a hotel in Alameda. I'll make this story short. And I was just having a chat with him at a break at the directors of the Alameda Chamber of Commerce. We're just chatting. And after me chatting for a while, like you see I do, it led to me driving to his hotel a couple hours later, putting in my little Honda Civic 12 cases of those little hotel shampoos, conditioners, soaps, and all that. So my Honda Civic was like loaded. I was greedy. I'm like, give me more. And I drove them back to campus, and now we have a whole supply we gave to our students. For any student who needs these types of materials can have them for free. And we have our showers open, of course, on all of our campuses. And now I know where to go, because now I know all the people at that hotel. So I'm like, when we run out, I'm hooked up. And it was just one of these ways that he gave without anything, And I think that's just what is so wonderful about Peralta, our area of northern Alameda County, and our 5 cities, that people are so willing to give, either at the ballot or in these little ways, to make all of our students and our faculty successful. So that's just what I want to share tonight.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's the end of my report.